And welcome back. Broken Branches is a valued resource here in the 417 as a recovery program from substance abuse. And joining us now are program directors Carrie and Sean Smith. Good morning, guys. How are you both?
You're great.
Amazing.
Well, we are so excited to learn more about this, what Broken Branches is. So let's just start with that. What is Broken Branches? What should people know?
Broken Branches is a recovery home for men and women. We are located here in Springfield. My wife, Carrie, she's a drug and alcohol counselor, and I'm a pastor, and we just basically are helping men and women in recovery.
We often hear that word recovery, and it can have a lot of different meanings. So in this instance, what does it mean when you say recovery?
So for mostly, it's substance abuse. Yeah.
Okay, so then what do like the different, I know you tapped on the counseling aspect and then also the fact that you're a pastor, but what do those services look like that you guys are providing? Like what's like an average session or a day or however this works? Kind of dive into that a little bit more.
So we offer free counseling if needed. Majority of our men are already in a treatment facility, so they have their classes, but we also offer Bible studies. So through our program, there's many different options of classes they can take.
Right.
We are hopefully going to be partnering with Good Dads soon.
Oh, that's a great
And
organization.
so
Yeah.
that will help with resources as well.
And unfortunately, in this day and age and in our society, there is a stigma attached to substance abuse, alcoholism, any sort of dependency on, drugs and alcohol. And it's like, well, they just don't want to clean up their life. But that's often not the case.
That is correct.
And these recovery programs are so important for that. So dive into that and why this is important for the Ozark area.
Well, I think a lot of it is that we have a lot of people out there that are suffering. I mean, I don't think anybody wakes up or wants to be a junkie or as a child wants to be a junkie, and that's how a lot of people see them. They see them on the side of the road, they see people lost, and they just think that they're making a horrible choice, but we got to remember that that's somebody's mom or son or daughter or wife, and they're God's daughters and sons first, you know what I mean? So everyone deserves a chance, and a lot of people don't give them that opportunity, and that's what we strive to help people in learning how to become productive members of society again.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like a buzzword I use a lot is like humanizing something, right? And I feel like with a lot of addicts, we completely dehumanize them. Like we don't think that they're like a shell of themselves, and we like put them on such low whatever, and it's so heartbreaking. So like, what would you want people to know about these folks in recovery and like kind of where maybe these programs help them go?
Well, I think honestly is that these recovery programs are keeping people from going back to prison or committing crimes. And that's one of the biggest things is these people can't get a job because they're using or they have a past. And so they're continuing to do the things they used to do. And so by us bringing them in and teaching them a new way of living and showing them a trade, they're more apt to go out and just be productive. And it's also reuniting families. So for the men and women who are out there that don't have their children anymore and they're lost, if we can help them get their life together and then get back with their kids and then reunite families, then we can start breaking the cycle.
I'm also curious to know, you guys have such a heart for this. I can just tell the way you're talking about it. So what's the whole reason you started this thing? Because you told me you started it 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I was an addict and pretty much my whole life. I started using at the age of 11 and went through life using this, that, and the other, and eventually ended up going to prison. And it kind of was a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
And I realized that God had given me something on my heart that I needed to do.
And I myself was in addiction for several years, and we are going on 7 years of sobriety, and I went through treatment court and became a counselor that way, and it's been Recovery Outreach Services was the program I went to, and it saved my life.
Yeah, congrats on the sobriety, by the way.
Congrats.
That's a
Yeah,
huge accomplishment.
that is huge, and it's one day at a time,
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
they say.
Yeah.
So having been on the side of addiction, and you're past it now, well, working through it, let's say, I think that is just so important for people when they do come into recovery programs, because it's a little hard to relate to someone who's never had a drop of alcohol,
Correct.
used drugs, to be like, well, you do it, I can't do that. It's very different. So why is that important that you've had that experience and you can share that with those people?
Well, I think honestly is that we know the downfalls, and we know that addicts can have good days, and then something traumatic for them can happen, and they spiral back down. And so we do everything from recovery prevention to budgeting and all sorts of stuff. But on a personal level, we really know that We can see when they're struggling. We know the signs, we know the body language, and then we can step in and really pour into them and treat them like a person,
Yeah.
not like a junkie.
Yeah. Well, and I think having those resources is vital because I think people forget that some people never got the opportunity to learn something like
Correct.
budgeting or those basic
Yeah.
life skills, if you will.
Life
So,
skills.
yes, you guys, if people want more information about what you all are doing, how do they go about getting that?
So you can go onto our website, which is www.brokenbranchesrecovery.life, L-I-F-E. We're also located here in Springfield, or you can call us at 417-416-4617.
Very good. Thank you guys.
Thank
it was
you
such
so
a pleasure
much
meeting you. Yes, thank
yeah,
you for
being
sharing
in our
your story.
community and
Absolutely.
sharing the power of recovery.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, all right, our favorite chef is here whipping up some authentic Italian eats. It's Chef Alex DeLuca. Right after this, don't go anywhere.